So, hi, I'm right here. So we are going to get started. I'll be holding things up kind of as we go. So this is the example of the first card we're going to make. But we're going to be doing some, like I said, some prep work. So you should have all the bags with the labels. We're actually going to go to bag number 5. Go to bag number 5 first. Just don't dump everything out. Just grab the small. I guess we probably could have waited, but just grab the small pink card that's in there. It's like it's cardstock, so it's thicker, and it should be the smaller piece of paper that's in there. Just grab it and just fold it in half.
Not the smallest.
Not the very smallest, but the thick pink one. Just fold it in half. We're just doing this to get it out of the way so we don't get confused with our other paper that we have going on in the rest of this project. So we're just going to fold that in half and we're going to stick it back in our number 5 packet. So that'll be ready for later. And then the other thing we're going to do to prep is we're going to take bag number 4. We're going to take the construction sheet paper that's out of bag number 4. It'll either be pink or red, you know, a fun Valentine's color. So this one, we're going to need our dinner plate. So I don't know if y'all have a dinner plate or a big circle. We're just going to be tracing it. So we're going to use that right now to trace. So grab that paper from your number 4 packet and grab your dinner plate. And what we're going to do, so I'm going to show y'all here and then I'm going to set it down on the table. We're going to essentially put the paper down first and the plate upside down on top of it. Kind of put it in the middle as much as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we're going to put it in the middle. Huh? Oh no, this is great. It should be going off the edges some, so this is great. You're going to trace just around the edges. I'm going to do mine and then I'll hold it up. This is going to seem weird, but I promise it'll turn into something. So I traced the edges. I can show y'all. I don't know if you can see, but there's a line right there and then a line right there on the side. Now, after you've done that, we're going to just cut around that to where it looks, I'll show you my one side. So we're just going to cut around that one side. We're going to leave the straight edge and cut this circle part out. So we're going to do this on both sides. And then I'll pause after I cut this and let people catch up if we need to for a second. Okay. So I can tell. So you should end up with oh, there we go. So you should end up with a piece of paper that kind of looks like this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should have 2 straight edges and then 2 round edges. And I'll give y'all a second to catch up, and then we're going to fold this kind of like a fan in a second. Okay. So next, we're going to take this. I'm going to do a couple folds and then I'll hold it up so you can see. We're going to fold it kind of like a fan, like how you would do when you're a kid. You fold it one way and then you flip it and fold it the other way. So I'll show you in a second. I'll hold it up. So we're going to fold it like this. You're going to take the straight edge and you're going to just start folding it like a fan back and forth all the way across. So it's going to be a little weird, like it'll feel weird along these edges, but just keep folding it until everything's folded up. I'll do a little bit more and show you again. So this is a little bit more through. You can kind of see I've started to get more of a fan. So you just keep going until you've gotten all the way through this piece of paper. Okay. So it's gonna look kind of like this when you're done. It's all folded up. Okay, and then from there, we're going to fold it in half like this. And so see, look, it's gonna end up looking like a heart when we're done. So we're gonna fold it in half and we're gonna take some of the glue and we're just gonna glue this middle part together. And this is why we're doing this early. So we're gonna glue this middle part. I'm actually gonna set my phone on top of it to kind of weigh it down so that it'll dry a little bit. And then we'll get to this towards the end and glue it on a card. But we need this middle part to be glued, or you can use tape if you have tape, that'll work too. So I'm just gonna glue this inside. Whoops. You kind of want to squeeze it, and then, like I said, I'm gonna put something on mine just so I can make sure it'll actually dry or stay. I'm just gonna lay it on my table like this with my phone on top, and that'll be fine. It'll just weigh it down a little bit, or you can use a book or anything that's on the table that's a little bit heavy. You can just let it dry, and we're gonna save that for later. Okay, and then there's one more thing we're gonna do to save for later, and then we'll start working on the cards. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the, let's see, which number is it? The number 3 bag. Let's find the number 3 bag. And we are going to take the construction paper out of it. So it'll either be red or pink again, either one. So we're going to take the construction paper out of it. We're going to also, so in your first bag, I'm gonna use this as a little template to trace. So if in your bag number 1, what we're about to use, there should be a heart, like the biggest heart that's in there. I'm going to use that to trace so that I don't have to draw the hearts by myself. So I'm going to use this to trace, and I'm going to trace probably 4 to 5 hearts on this. It's easier if you fold your construction paper in half and trace them, because then you can cut them out and you'll get 2 hearts each time you cut it out. So it's a little bit faster than having to cut out each individual heart. So I'm going to draw probably, since I did this, I'm probably going to just draw like 3 hearts and then we'll cut them out. Okay, so I have my 3 hearts drawn, and now I'm going to leave the paper folded and I'm just going to cut them out. So then I'll get 6 hearts after I cut all these out, because it'll be cutting 2 hearts out each time, if that makes sense. So now you can cut them out, and don't stress if they're not perfect. It's not, the end of the world if they're not all exactly perfect, but we'll just cut them out real quick and then we'll get to the next step. Okay. So keep cutting if you're still working on that, but now we'll have 6 hearts that we can work with for some of our cards. And save this construction piece of paper because you may end up wanting a little bit more of this later if we want more hearts on some of our cards. Okay. And now what we're going to do with these, we're going to set 2 to the side for to use later. And then we're going to take 4 of them. So we have 4 total. But we're going to take 2, put them together, just like how they were when you cut them out, basically fold them in half. So you fold them in half, but you have 2 hearts that have been folded in half. So now what we're going to do, we're going to glue, actually, sorry, we're going to do this one more time with the 3rd heart. So take 1 more heart and fold it in half. So we'll have 3 of these total. Okay. So now what we're going to do, so we have 3 hearts that have been folded in half. We're going to end up joining them together so that they'll end up looking like this on a card. I'll show y'all. This is the card that we're making these pieces so that when we glue it to the paper, these are already glued together, so it's not a big mess later. So we're just going to glue 2 of the sides of this heart together, and we're going to take 1 more and glue it to this side, if that makes sense. So I'll do 1 first, and then I'll glue the next one. So just take 2 and glue just 1 side of each of the folded side. Oh, sorry, there we go. Glue these 2 together. You have these that don't have glue on them yet. So I'm just going to glue half of this heart and stick it on the other half of another heart. So then this is kind of there. So that's glued. So it kind of looks like that now. But just so then that side is glued. I'm going to take 1 more heart and I'm going to put glue on half of this one. Okay. And I'm going to take the hearts that I've already glued some on, and I'm going to just stick this side to this one over here to where there's 3 hearts kind of in a row, and they're just glued on one side. So then when let me try to open it. So these have glue on them, and then these have glue on them together. So then they're kind of it'll end up looking like a 3D heart when we put it on our card. If anyone has questions, you're welcome to unmute and ask me a question. I feel like it's a little hard on Zoom to like totally show all this, but.
So is it right to have it can look like a flower?
Yeah, so if you looked at it from the top, it could look like a cross or like a little flower or something like that, if you looked at it from the top. So once you do this, we're going to do this one more time to make 2 of these. So you should have 3 more hearts that we can do this with. And then we're going to set these to the side so that this will dry a little bit better. So I'm going to set this down and I'm going to glue my other hearts, and I'll show y'all again as I glue it. So I take my 3 that are cut out and I'm going to fold them in half. And then I'm going to glue the heart pieces together just like we did a second ago. do the one side. Okay, then I'm going to add glue to the next part and glue the third one on. And then I'm going to set it to the side and let them dry a little bit. Okay. Okay, so then you have your little cross kind of shape if you look at it from the top. And then I'm going to set it over here to the side with my other heart for later. Okay. Let me know if y'all are ready to move on. You can give me a thumbs up if you're ready. If you're not ready, we can wait another minute. Okay. Okay, so that should be the prep work that we need to do. Now we can start going like in order, one by one with the cards. So you will want to take your bag number 1. This is what we're going to be making with this design. We're going to use our tissue paper squares. It's going to be kind of like, I don't know if y'all remember doing projects with the tissue paper and the glue and the pencil, but that's what we're going to be doing. So you want to get your card. It is easier if you go ahead and write a message on the back now than trying to do it later. You can do it later. You just want to make sure everything's dry if you do it later. So if you want to write a quick message, it doesn't have to be super long. It can be, just happy Valentine's Day, or you are loved. We hope that you have a wonderful day. Something simple. I did that with mine just because I knew it would be easier than doing it later. Okay. Okay, so after you write your note, we're going to grab the felt heart. You might have used this one to trace your other hearts. Grab the big heart that's in there. We're just going to put it in the middle. And then we're going to grab the fancier, smaller heart, and you can just put it in the center of your big heart. So they're just stickers. You should be able to pull off the back and just stick them on there in the middle. So it basically looks like that. So it's kind of like the stickers are just on top of each other.
Kari, is this the 3D sticker you put on top versus you put this 3D?
Yeah,
versus
yeah, 3D sticker. That's a good word. Thank you. Yeah, the 3D one goes on top. The other ones are kind of to decorate the page when you're done, so that there's a little bit more flair to it than just the tissue paper. Okay, the next thing that I did just to help me with my tissue paper was I drew with my pencil. I drew a heart kind of shape around this one just so it would be easier for me to follow a line when I'm doing my tissue paper. You don't have to do that, but I thought it was easier. So I'm gonna lay it down on the table to do it. And then I can show y'all kind of what that looks like. You want to make sure that it's spaced out away from your sticker if you do a line, because you want there to be a little bit of space there. So I'm going to do it all the way around, kind of far away from my sticker. And this is really just a guide to help you. I'm having to kind of fix mine a little bit, so you can erase it and fix it if you need to.
Okay, so one more question. With the
Yeah.
card, are we signing our name on that or just writing a message?
I put love the Allman family, you know, I put love Kari on a few of them. So I think it's up to you. I mean, the people won't know us obviously, but I think it's nice to know, oh, this particular family sent this. I don't know. So I think it's up to you. Yeah. So I drew, like I said, I drew like a little line for me to trace kind of as I do my tissue paper project. Okay, so the next part, it's we're going to take our pencil and one of the little tissue paper squares that's in your thing. You stick the tissue paper on the pencil end like this. You kind of cover it up like that. And then you're going to put a little dot of glue. I'm going to put the glue on the paper and then I'm going to stick, I'll show you, you can like, I'll demonstrate all this in a second, but you will wrap it up like this. I'm going to put the glue on the paper and then the tissue paper on top of that. So, so I'm going to put a little glue on my heart line that I did. And then I'm going to take my pencil that has the tissue paper wrapped around it. And I'm going to, hold on. It's a little tricky when I'm holding it all. Okay, so I'm going to hold this and I'm going to dab this onto my glue and then let go. So it's going to stick up kind of like that from the card. And then basically I'm just going to do it again and again until we get it all the way around the heart. And this may be something too that if it's taking a little while on the Zoom, we may do, you know, part of the heart and then y'all can come back to it and finish it after this is over. If it, you know, is taking a little while, this is probably the most tedious thing that we have to do on all the cards, but I think it looks fun when you're done. So, and it only took about 20 to 25 pieces total when I did it at home. So you can kind of space them out a little bit.
So Kari, do we put that tissue paper up next to the heart or do we put it on our line?
On your line. So I'm doing it on my line. I did the glue on my line. So see that there's kind of going to be a space.
There's space between. Okay. Okay.
So it'll create like another heart inside there. And you don't have to put, when you do the next one, you don't have to put it where they're like right up next to each other on the bottom because the tops are going to be touching each other anyway. So you can kind of space them out a little bit. You don't have to put them like where they're pushing each other over. I don't know if y'all can see that kind of where they are. So I have 2 on mine right now.
So we will only be doing one row of these on that line.
Right. Just one on
between.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If your pencil eraser starts to get kind of sticky, then just wipe it off with a damp paper towel or your finger or whatever works, but I would wipe it off and then continue. And if your tissue paper, if you feel like you're knocking over the piece you just put on, then you're probably putting them a little too close together. So just spread them out a little bit if you feel like you're accidentally knocking ones off that you've already done. Okay, so I have about half of mine done. And then I'm gonna do the line on the other side and do the other side. So that's kind of what it looks like about halfway. Once you get your tissue paper done, I'm going to use the rest of the stickers that were in the bag. You can kind of decorate the rest of the front of this however you want, and then set it to the side to dry. So if I'll give y'all like a couple more minutes to get a little farther along or finish up, and then if you need to finish it later, that's totally fine too. This is one you can kind of finish real quick at the end if you need to. But I'm going to decorate mine with the stickers. Okay. So that is card number 1. I can kind of see. There you go. If you have extra stickers left over, you're welcome to save them for other projects we'll be doing. We'll use stickers in different ways the rest of the time too. So set that one somewhere where it's safe to dry, so you don't accidentally hit it with something else. And then we're gonna go to card 2, which is significantly easier if you need a break from some of the tedious stuff. So this is the second card. You can grab it out of your bag. And it's an actual card that opens. This one is. So it should be one that opens. And you don't have to write a note yet if you don't want to. But we're basically just going to we're going to use the stickers to kind of make them look like a little balloon bouquet. And I wrote Happy Valentine's Day on the front. You can write something else if you want. That was just what made sense to me. You might have a more clever thing that you can write. So we'll grab the card and then just decorate it with the stickers. And then the main thing with the stickers, so that it looks good as balloons, you want to kind of layer them a little bit. So I did my biggest one kind of at the top and the back, and I put this one over it next. So I kind of layered them some so they look like they're in front and behind a little bit, if that makes sense. So that's kind of, I guess, my one tip on this one is to kind of do that. And you do point the bottoms of the hearts, you kind of want them to look like if they're a balloon, they're going to be pulled from all kind of from the same direction. So you kind of angle the bottom towards where they're going to be gathered together, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start putting them on my paper.
Okay, and I take it we're drawing those lines later and making some.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So we'll draw those lines later for sure. And I'll show you kind of do that. We'll use our pencil and then we can use like our black pen and make it, permanent. But I used a pencil first so I could erase it if I wanted to. And I think y'all should have at least like 5 to 6 stickers in there. This is just the first 3, so I'm kind of layering them a little bit. And then I'm going to put probably 3 more down here as well. And they'll kind of cover up the bottoms of these a little bit. Okay, so that's kind of how mine looks right now. And then with the pencil, so I think it's easier to kind of make a dot where you want them to gather. So I made a dot right here. I know you can't really see it. It's where my thumb is. I made a dot right there. And then I'm going to lightly kind of draw a line from each of them to make it look like a string. And then I'll go over with my black pen when I think I like it or whatever. So I'm going to make sure there's at least, you know, enough strings for each balloon to go down to this dot. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll show y'all. Okay, so you can kind of see like I did the different strings. And then if they're gathered, then they're going to hang a little bit, you know, off of that. So I'm going to draw a couple of little lines to make it look like a little balloon, like a string tail or whatever. And on mine, I just drew like a little heart right here to gather them together, just, or you can make it just like a little knot. I mean, if you have like a stick, like an extra sticker in your bag that is smaller, you can put a little heart sticker there, but I didn't have that, so I just kind of drew a heart there. And then if you have any pencil lines that you don't like, you can erase them after the pen or marker is dry. You can erase them. So it looks like that. And then really the last thing with this one is just writing like Happy Valentine's Day or something like that on the front. Or you could write your sweet, I mean, I don't know. If you have another idea, you can shout it out. Feel free to use the pencil first if you're not sure if Valentine's will fit all the way across the area that you're working on, or you can go with the marker first. And then just don't forget before you give it back to write a note on the inside, but you can do that now or you can do it later. And then this one did come with an envelope because it doesn't have anything to 3D on it. So you can stick it in the envelope or you can leave it out of it. It's up to you. Okay. So we're going to the third card. Does anyone have any questions before we move on? Okay, so we're gonna do our third card. So grab your third packet. This is the one, it's gonna look like this. It's gonna look like two little hot air balloons, but with our hearts that we made earlier. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna grab our white piece of paper that's in our bag. I'm gonna grab the hearts that we put together earlier.
Which number was that?
Oh, number 3.
Okay.
Bag number 3. So we have our little hearts that they should feel pretty good as far as like they're not going to fall apart on you if you're working with them. So we should have these 3 things, the hearts and the paper. So we're going to I'm going to show you all on the finished one. When we put our hearts on, we're going to want to leave some room at the top and at the bottom. So I'll show y'all where I'm going to put mine. I'm going to put some glue on the back of just one of them right now. And I'm basically going to I'm going to take my card, I'm going to put it kind of like near the top, but not all the way to the top, and kind of on the left side a little bit. So I'll move my hand in a second. I'm going to place it down and then I'll show y'all. It's kind of in that little spot. This should give you room to like draw the little basket and then write a little note at the bottom. And then we're going to glue the other one on. You want to make sure that there's a little space in between both of them. But it's going to be about the same height on the card. And you want to leave some space. So just do it on the other side. There we go. So it should look kind of like this. Okay. So the next step, we're going to use our pencil. If you're real confident, you can use your black marker, but I'm going to use my pencil. And we are going to draw our little baskets in. So these don't have to be real big. They're just kind of little cutesy little things. So I'm going to I just did 3 lines because that's what looked good. If 2 lines looks good to you, then that's great. If 4, that's fine too. But basically you're going to draw them just kind of going straight down from your heart. Like this is a hot air balloon. I'm going to draw them and then I'll show you guys. So I did 3 lines just kind of right there on this one. Just going straight down. And they don't have to be very long. And do the same on the other one. So they both should have these 3 lines going down from the hearts. And the thing I want to do is draw a box at the bottom of both of these, basically just a square at the bottom of both of those. So it's like a little basket. Looks like a tiny little basket. And we're going to go over these with the black marker too. So but if you mess up with the pencil, it's easy to erase it and kind of make it a different size if you want to. And then the next thing I'm going to do with my pencil, I'm going to do like a little dotted line, kind of a cutesy little line to go in between these 2. So I'll show y'all. Let me do it and then I'll show you. So it's like a dotted line that I'll show you on this one, actually. This is kind of what we're doing. So we're doing this line right here because we're sending our love. See, it says sending you love from my heart to yours. That's kind of what we're going to write on here. So we're sending our love. So that's what the little dotted line is for. So I'm going to go ahead and trace over that with my black marker on my card, and then we'll go to the next step. And then again, you can erase your pencil lines when your marker's dry, or pen, or whatever. And then the next step is to take your, so here's what it looks like before the stickers go on. So then we're going to grab our stickers. There should be just like 3 little heart stickers and maybe like 2 little ones and a big one. I have 3 little ones. So mainly the 2 that are the same size. If you have 2 different sized hearts, you want to put the 2 that are the same size and the smallest where the baskets are. And then the one that might be a little bit bigger can go in the center. Mine are all the same size, so I'm just going to use them all the same size in mine. So it looks like that when you get your stickers on. Okay. And then the next step is going to be the wording. And again, you can use your pencil and trace over it later, or you can just use your pen or your black marker for this. So at the top, we're going to write sending you love. So sending you love, ... just at the top. Okay, so I'm sending you love. And then at the bottom, you can put from my heart to yours. And if you want to write anything else, like Happy Valentine's Day, you can, or you can just put love, you know, the Allman family or whatever your family name is if you want. But so sending you love from my heart to yours is at the bottom, from my heart to yours. So that is card number 3. Okay. So we can set that to the side and let it dry a little bit more. Okay, are y'all ready for card number 4? Does anyone need to get up and take a break or anything? Get a drink? Like, I need to drink the water. Okay. Okay. Are y'all ready to start card number 4? We're almost done. I'm kind of excited to see y'all's favorites after we're done. I'm gonna have y'all hold some up. Okay, so we're gonna grab the rest of our stuff from packet number 4. It should be a cardstock and then 2 ribbons that look like this. Some of y'all may have white cardstock and not brown, but either way is fine. So we're going to take our ribbons, we're going to glue them at the top and bottom of our card. So this is going to be a vertical card. I want to show y'all. This is what this one will look like when we're done. So, and it might be a different color because y'all might have different colors of paper and stuff in yours, but we're just going to glue the ribbon on the top. This is another one where, I mean, you should be able to write a note on the back once we're done, but you're going to have to let it dry before you can write a note, just don't forget. But I like to put the glue on the paper and then do the ribbon on top of it. And it should be plenty long to where you can cut off. You'll need to maybe cut off a little bit. But it's just going to be like a border. And if for some reason the ribbon comes off, then you probably just need a little bit more glue. And then you're going to take that fan heart that we made earlier and take it out. So it should be pretty together now since we did it earlier. If it's sticking together, like mine's sticking together a little bit right here, I'm just going to kind of pop that part out so that it's not sticking together where it's not supposed to. There. Okay. And if for some reason these little wings on the side, if they look funny to you, you can always cut them off. It's, you know, you don't have to cut them off, but I did on my first one. I'm not going to worry about it on this one. So with this, we're just going to put some glue. So the main thing with this is you want to make sure that it's facing the right way when you glue it down. So the back part is going to be the part that, like, I don't know if y'all can see it. When you glued it together, it's like the paper ends are sticking back. It's kind of the uglier side in the middle. Basically, you want the ugly side to be at the back so we don't see it as much. So the part that we will see will be the part that's just kind of folded and glued together, if that makes sense. So I'm going to basically put glue kind of along this part because it sticks out more than the others. I'm going to put glue kind of like down at the base of it and then kind of on the middle. And then if there's like on mine, there's a couple spots that I can tell are going to stick up more and probably touch the card better. I'm going to put a little glue on those spots too, like maybe out here on the heart. I'm just put a little glue on some of these to make sure that they stick to the paper. Okay, so I have a little bit of glue on mine, and then I'm going to stick it on my paper, and you can kind of squeeze it if it needs to be a little more narrow to fit. You might have to do that. So the main thing with this, if it goes off the paper some, that's fine. But the main thing with this is you're going to probably want to weight it down again to make sure that it sticks. So you kind of want the pressure to be on the top of the heart. So I'm going to lay my phone on it again. If you need to add more glue, you can always add more glue to it too before you weigh it down. But I'm going to put my phone on it again just to make sure that it catches and gets tacky so that it'll stay. Okay, and I'm going to weigh it down on my table, and then that will be that one. And then the note will go on the back once it's dry. So I don't know if y'all probably can't see this. I intend to show you. So I just have my phone sitting on top of it, and it kind of works like a little table anyway. So that works. And then just let it dry, and then you can take it off, and it should be great. Okay, we're to the last card. We're gonna be cutting out some stuff again. So grab your packet. the last one. And I'm gonna get the construction paper piece that I used earlier to cut hearts out of. If you have a fresh one in there that is colored, but the white one we're gonna use for something else. So save the white one for just a second. But if you have like another like colorful piece of construction paper that you want to use, you can, or you can reuse this one that we used earlier. So for this is what we're doing. They're kind of like little pop out hearts, if you can tell. And then the inside is like a big pop out heart. So what I'm gonna do is, if you have any other like big hearts, you can use those to trace. If you want to just freehand some hearts, that's fine, but we're going to be cutting out some heart shapes. One way that to freehand a heart is to fold your paper in half and then use the crease. Well, I'll show you. I'm going to draw it first. So you can draw half a heart on the crease, and then when you cut it out, it'll be a whole heart. So I'm going to do that. And if you do it at different sizes, then you'll have like several hearts that you can choose from that are different sizes. So I'm going to do that on my construction paper. And you don't want them to be, I mean, you know, they can just be about the same size as the hot air balloon hearts that we did earlier. They can be generally that same size. And you probably want about 4 to 5 total of these kind of hearts.
I still have this pink.
Oh yeah, if you have a pink paper, you can use pink, you can use red. We're gonna use the white one on the inside. While you're cutting this out, you can also grab the white piece of paper that's inside your bag, fold it in half, and we're gonna do a heart for the inside of this. So it's gonna be bigger than the ones that you've been doing, but it doesn't have to be, you know, gigantic. It's not gonna fill up this whole space, but you do wanna make it bigger so that it can be, you know, a little bit larger heart on the inside that pops out. Okay, so if you have your hearts cut out, the next thing we're going to cut out we're going to be cutting out the little pieces of paper that we're going to use behind each heart. So behind the big heart, I used 3. So we'll need 3 of these for the big heart, and then 1 for each little heart that we did. So all that is it's just a rectangle. We're just cutting out rectangles of, I'll show y'all, rectangular pieces of paper. So it's just gonna be like rectangles like this. So you need probably 2 or 3 for the inside heart because it's gonna be bigger. And then you need 1 for each of the little hearts that's gonna go on the front. So I cut out 4 hearts for the front. So I'm gonna need 1 of these for each heart. So I'll need 4 rectangles for the front, and then I'll need like 3 probably from the inside. So I'll need 7 total. And it doesn't matter really how long they are. You don't want them super long because then the hearts are gonna fly off the card. But if they're a little bit long, then they'll pop out a little bit and it'll be cute. Okay.
How do you fold the little rectangles?
How do you fold them?
And about how long do you think they should be? An inch, inch and a half?
Yeah, that's probably good. And the only ones that are going to matter is like on the inside when we do use our big heart. we're gonna trim them to be the same size so that they're all the same size for the big heart. So we're gonna use like 3 for the inside white heart, but we'll get to that. And the folding, you know, they don't all have to be exactly the same size for the front, if that makes sense. Like it's okay if they're not exact. But so this is the folding. I'll show y'all. It's basically just folding it like a little fan, kind of like we did that other heart, folding it back and forth. So it looks kind of like a spring when it pops up. Whoops, sorry. I thought I was on I'll show you again. I thought I was on the video. Okay. So you just fold it back and forth like a spring or like the fan, like we did, sorry. So then they kind of pop up like this. I don't know, can y'all see that? Like it's like a weird thing. So they look like little zigzags on the table. And again, they don't all have to be exactly the same because these are just going to be, it's okay if they're a little bit different. You just want to make sure you have enough of them for all your hearts. So the ones for the inside, before I fold those, so I'm going to use 3 for my big heart because I kind of made a big heart. I'm going to make sure they're the same length so that when I fold it, they'll all pop out about the same amount. So I need to trim a couple of mine to make sure they're the right length. That's the only one where they're going to be kind of the same. And you might want to set those to the side if so you don't get them confused with the others. Okay, so now that we have our little zigzags, actually before we glue our zigzags, we're going to decorate our hearts and then we'll glue the zigzags. So I'm going to take my little red hearts that go on the front, or pink, or whatever color you have. There should be some stickers in your bag. You can decorate them with stickers if you want. I'll show y'all some of the finished ones. I wrote "Be Mine" on one and put a sticker on one. I did a little heart, and then I used my pen to do like a little design around it. You can do little dots around the edge. You know, you can kind of get creative with your marker and then your also your stickers that you have. So I just put them inside the hearts. I think the main thing, like I have some pencil line on some of my hearts, just make sure that's on the back so you're not having to show that later. You can also decorate your big heart too if you want to. One of the stickers that I had said love, so I put that in the middle of this one, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can just decorate it however you want, and then with the big white heart as well. But first we're going to start with the inside heart. So here's mine. We're going to take our 3 little zigzag spring things that are the same size. We're going to glue 3 of them to the back. So the best places for this, just so that it doesn't get weird when you open it, is you do 1 on each side and then 1 kind of down at the point. So you're kind of making a triangle with your zigzags, and you just glue one little spot of it. So you're not gluing like the whole thing on, obviously, but you just want it to spring off. So I'll show you. So you want it to be able to come off the page like that. So you just glue 1 little tab down, and then we're going to do that in 2 more spots. Okay, so I have my 3 tabs on there. You can kind of see them. And then we're going to open our card up. We're going to get our card stock, whoops, that we had. And we're going to glue it. We're going to basically glue the tabs on just like we did, but just like 1 tab, and we're going to glue it in here. And then later you'll write a note in this one. So I'm going to put glue on my 3 little tabs, and then I'm going to stick them all on at the same time. So this one, I think it's a little easier if you do this. If you kind of squeeze them together before you glue it, then they'll kind of lay a little bit flatter for you so that it's easier to stick on your card at the same time. So I have my glue, and then I'm gonna stick my heart in. You mainly just want to make sure that you can close it. If your heart's a little bit bigger than your card, you want to make sure that you can close your card okay. Let's see. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it's kind of, there we go. You can kind of see like my heart is kind of floating on the paper. It kind of pops out like that. And then later you can write a message at the top or the bottom or both spots if you want, or on this side of the card if you'd rather do that. And then once we get that one on, we're going to close it gently because you don't want to mess up what you just did, but close it gently and kind of just, you can kind of press it a little bit. And then we're going to glue our little heart tabs on the front. So we're basically going to do it the same way. And you can kind of spread out your hearts. You kind of just want to feel like the page is full of the hearts. So I'm going to still do like, put a little glue on one of the tabs and glue it on a heart before I put it down on my paper. So I'm taking this heart that I did and just sticking the tab and just stick it right in the middle, and it should be fine. You shouldn't need more than one zigzag thing on these hearts because they're little. Just make sure to stick it right in the middle. And I'm going to do that on all my hearts before I glue them onto my card so that it gives these a little bit of time to kind of stick. So I'm going to put all my tabs on my hearts. Okay, so I have all of my tabs stuck to my hearts. So I'm going to start gluing them onto my card. And again, you can kind of space them out however you want. This is how this one was. I only cut out 4 hearts this time, but if you feel like if you only do 4 hearts and you feel like it's missing something, you can always add another heart to it. Or you don't have to, you can only use 4. It's up to you. Okay, so I don't want to hold it up too long so they might fall, but there's kind of after they're glued on. That's mine. I might end up adding another heart down here if I feel like it's too blank, and then the inside is kind of like this. And sometimes the tabs will kind of stick a little bit because the glue might catch in a spot where it's not supposed to. Once it's dry, you can kind of pull them apart a little bit if you need to. So that shouldn't be a problem, but just be aware it does happen. And I think that should be it. I mean, don't forget to write notes on your cards. Does anyone have any questions about anything before we wrap up?
Kari and I will take them over to the nursing homes this week. So they'll have them for Valentine's Day. And the chocolate kisses are for y'all. Actually, the nursing home is going to add candy, some little goodies to the cards for the residents. So y'all keep the Hershey Kisses and enjoy them while you're watching the Super Bowl. No. Wednesday, at the latest, please just drop them off sometime between now and then. And if for some reason you can't get over here, just let me know. We can make arrangements either to get them from you, or I can pick them up at your house or something like that if anybody's having problems getting there. So I think that's it though.
Hold up your favorite one that you did, or maybe 2 favorites. I love seeing them made. Oh, that's fun.
Hold on, I want to take a picture. Okay, and y'all keep your look at Baylor social media stuff. Probably next week they're going. I have a picture of me taking a picture. They're going to post it. Baylor's pretty excited that we're doing cards for the residents. Those look so
They look good,
good.
y'all.
Those look so good. Here we